Google Ads is no joke. If you don't know what you're doing, you can burn through money like this. When you're paying the kind of money that Google demands for each click, the last thing you want to happen is for somebody to click on your ad, go to the landing page, and then bounce right off again. In this series of videos, I'm going to show you how to build stickier landing pages so that you can convert more clicks into clients. If you're new here, I'm Curtis Penner, owner of theleadsheep.com. This is where forward-thinking small business owners come to create a stampede of clients. This Google Ads landing page tutorial is part of a series that's looking at how to create higher converting landing pages for your Google Ads campaign. If you haven't already done so, consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification bell so you're notified as soon as the next video in this series comes out. In this series of videos, we're going to be using a particular tool to help us build our landing pages, and that tool is called the Conversion Sequence Heuristic. It was developed by Flint McGlaughlin of MECLABS, who is also the parent company to marketingsherpa.com. According to Wikipedia, heuristic methods can be used to speed up the process of finding a satisfactory solution. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a framework, a heuristic, to help us get from no landing page or a poor performing landing page to a high converting landing page as quickly as possible. The conversion sequence heuristic developed by MECLABS is this. C equals 4M plus 3V plus 2 times I minus F minus 2A. So before I forget, let me ask you a question. What is your biggest challenge when it comes to creating landing pages for your Google Ads campaigns? Let me know by leaving a comment down in the comment section below. The conversion sequence heuristic is not an actual formula to be solved. What it's doing is it's giving us all of the components of a high converting landing page and letting us know which ones are most important. Let's take M for example. M stands for motivation, or the motivation of your visitor when they appear on the landing page. And beside the M, you'll see the number 4. That number 4 tells us that it is more important than any other element in the conversion sequence heuristic. The next element is V for value or value proposition. In other words, why should the visitor buy from you as opposed to anybody else who's running Google Ads? The next is I. I stands for incentives, such as discounts, deadlines, or limited supply. The next element is friction. Well, what type of friction might somebody experience on a landing page? Well, if they click on the ad and then it takes your page 10 seconds to load before they see anything on your landing page, that's a form of friction. Or if your visitor is like me, who's 50 years old and has bad eyesight, and the text on your page is super tiny, well, that's a form of friction as well. So the last element is A for anxiety. So what type of anxiety do people experience on a landing page? Well, if you've got a lot of friction points on your page, that builds up the anxiety level in your visitor. Or if you're an e-commerce store, for example, and you're asking them to make a purchase with you and they've never bought from you before, they've never even heard of you before, that's going to cause some anxiety. So I mentioned that this is a series of videos. In this video particularly, we're going to take a look at the first element, motivation. Anyone searching on Google for anything has a certain level of motivation to find what they're looking for, whether it's to solve a problem or to gain some type of benefit. Your prospect's motivation is going to depend a lot on where they are in relation to the buyer's journey. So if you're not familiar with it, the buyer's journey is just the steps we go through in buying something. So in the beginning is the awareness stage. The awareness stage is where I say, well, there's something that I want to get, some kind of benefit I want to gain, or there's some kind of problem I need to solve. So for example, I want to have a Porsche, or I need a new car because my car just died. So now I'm in the awareness stage. I'm aware that I have a problem. The next stage is the contemplation stage. This is where I'm contemplating all of my different options. Well, I can get a Porsche Boxster, or I can get a cheap used car that's going to get me from point A to B, and that's all I'm going to need. The next stage is the decision stage. So I've decided on exactly what option is best for me or that I feel is best for me. And now I go about deciding on who's the best provider for that solution or for that thing that I want to buy. So what does this have to do with your landing pages? Well, the conversion on your landing page over here begins way back with the keywords that you're bidding on. If you're bidding on keywords that are related to the awareness stage, but your landing page has to do more with the decision stage, then you've got a mismatch between the two and your conversions aren't going to be as high as they should be. Let's say that I own a counseling service. I employ counselors to work with people on a variety of different issues. One of those issues being porn addiction, to be specific. So what would somebody search for who is in the awareness stage? If someone is in the awareness stage, they might search for terms like, am I addicted to porn, or porn addiction symptoms? In that case, if I wanted to get an ad in front of that person and get them to click over, I might create an ad that says something like, think you're addicted to porn? Take this 2-minute quiz to find out. Then my landing page would actually be the quiz page where they can sign up and they can take a quiz and get the results. And if someone is in the next stage, in the contemplation stage, they might be looking for overcoming porn addiction. So they already know that they're addicted to porn, or they have a really strong suspicion that they're addicted to porn. Now they're looking for ways on how to overcome that addiction. They haven't settled on one type of treatment or another. They're just looking for different options. So in that case, my landing page might look like overcoming porn addiction. Here are 5 things that work. And then it would be comparing 5 different things. And of course, one of them would be our counseling option. Hey, if you're finding this video helpful and you want to take it a step farther and you want to learn even more about how to create a lead generation system for your small business, then I invite you to schedule a 30-minute strategy session with me. It's completely free and there's no obligation for it. I've left a link down in the description below. Just click the link, check it out, and see if it's for you. And somebody in the final stage, the decision stage, might be searching for something like porn addiction counseling near me. And then, of course, the landing page I create is going to match that up, and it's going to talk about our porn addiction counseling and say something like, see how our porn addiction counseling can help you break the porn addiction in 8 days. The landing pages are going to look very different depending on which stage the prospect is in. And this works the same for B2B. So let's say that I have an HR management software that I'm trying to sell using Google Ads. And I want to reach somebody who's in the awareness stage. They don't even know that the HR management software exists. What would they be typing in? Well, they might have a problem with keeping track of employees' hours. So they type into Google, how to track employees' hours. I could build a landing page that's more like a blog post that talks about 5 different ways to keep track of employees' hours. One of those ways is the HR management software. Now, if somebody has typed that into Google, and whether or not they saw an ad, maybe they read a blog post or watched a YouTube video, and they come across the term HR management software, the next stage would be contemplation. So now they're contemplating HR management software, and they have a question. They type in, what does HR management software do? Now, you could bid on that type of phrase. The landing page would be an explanation of how HR management software works and how it can cut down time for an HR management employee. Then somebody who's in the decision stage is going to be looking at all of the different options and comparing their choices. So they're going to type in things like best HR management software. And the landing page could be something that compares the top 5 choices and showcases your software and why you feel you're better than the others. So just to do a quick recap here, the conversion on your landing page is going to be affected greatly by how you structure your Google Ads campaign. You really need to break down your keywords that you're bidding on into the 3 different stages and make sure that your landing pages match each of those stages. Here's what happens when it goes wrong. I type in the term porn addiction counseling and I see this ad for Talkspace Porn Therapy, the best therapy online. And when I click that ad, I get this landing page. The very first thing that a person is going to see on the landing page is typically the headline. And in this case, there's no mention of porn addiction at all. So I clicked on an ad that was talking about porn addiction therapy, and I get a landing page that doesn't mention porn addiction therapy at all. There's a big mismatch from the ad to the landing page. And what's going to happen is that person's going to bounce. They're going to go on to the next ad or the next link. For something like HR management software that has a high keyword cost, you would think there'd be better match between search and landing page. But here we go. I type in the search term best HR management software, and down here I see this ad, Gusto versus the others no hidden fear charges. So my impression is they're going to actually help me out and compare themselves to other HR management software systems so that I can see which one's best. But when I click through the ad, I see this landing page. There's no comparison. All it says is see how easy payroll and benefits can be. My likely response is going to be, I'm just going to leave and try and find something more appropriate. If you'd like more help putting together a lead generation strategy for your business, whether it includes Google Ads or not, then I'd love to talk to you. You can schedule a free 30-minute strategy call with me by clicking the link down in the description below. And be sure to check out the next video in this series where we take a look at the value proposition, or the V in the conversion sequence heuristic. Until then, thanks for watching. I'm Curtis Penner.